this guitar right here is a $700 Strat style guitar that I initially made a review for, and I was about to upload it, but then I decided to take a closer look, and what I found was disgusting. We're going to talk about that. Okay, so we're taking a look at the S7 in Sherwood Green. So this is from the Sire brand of guitars. If you're not familiar with Sire, they are a brand that hasn't been around for that long, but their rise to fame happened when they decided to work collectively with the legendary bassist Marcus Miller, and they did some very affordable and very high quality basses with them. And so people took notice and they started spreading the word, and they became very popular. And so they decided to expand into an acoustic guitar lineup and now an electric guitar lineup. The electric guitar lineup has been available for 2-3 years, I think. Not exactly sure 100%, but it's been around for a couple of years, and it has been very, very popular and very successful. So I want to go over the specifications for this guitar, and then we'll go over some tones, and then I'm going to share my thoughts with you and some of my findings and whatnot. So the guitar has an alder body and this beautiful sparkle Sherwood green. This one has kind of a aged white pickguard. I've seen variations of this with a tortoise shell pickguard as well as a pearl white pickguard. So this one's interesting. I bought this one from Thomann, and this guitar has a 3 pickup configuration. So we have Alnico humbucker, 2 Alnico single coils, 1 volume and 1 tone pot, which I actually like the simplicity of that. 5-way position selector switch. We've got your tremolo right here with stainless steel saddles. Got a big trem block, which we'll show later on in the video, and then we've got a roasted maple neck. Now, one of the things I like about the Sire brand of guitars, they have these roasted maple necks, but they do it with a gloss or finish fretboard, which is super smooth and silky. And then we've got, just a satin natural roast on the back of the neck. So I think that's pretty cool. This one has 22 medium jumbo frets with abalone inlays. We've got a bone nut, if I'm not mistaken, and then we have some locking tuners. So lots of value there in terms of your parts. We're going to go over some of the clean tones, the short tones. Then I'm going to go over some of the things that are wrong with this guitar, just some of my findings, and we'll go from there. So let's go ahead and do that now. So as you heard in the playing examples, the guitar has a very sparkly sound. That's just the best way I can describe it. But it's very top end strong and very percussive sounding, if you will. Definitely not the kind of sound that you want for like metal for sure. But it's great for clean tones, it's great for blues, jazz, rock, pop. I mean, it's very versatile. That's one thing that I like about the Sire guitars, just the tones that you can get from them. Just the tones that you can get from them give you a lot of versatility, and so that's great to have. These are clearly workman guitars in the sense that they are Swiss Army knives, so to speak. So they'll do just about everything, and they are basically modeled after Sir Larry Carlton's guitars, right? So there's a couple of things that are wrong with this guitar, and mind you, that I'm going to complain about things wrong with this guitar, taking into consideration its price point in comparison to what I've seen from some other much more affordable brands that don't do this. One of their claims to fame is that they do an excellent fret treatment and round off the fretboard ends, or just round off the fretboard. And so one of the biggest problems that I have with this guitar is super sharp fret ends. You can hear the pick right here. Yeah, I mean, this is bad. I don't do a sock test, so people don't think I'm trying to imitate what Phil McKnight does. But if I did, it would just be completely torn right now. Like, it's bad. Think about the stuff you've seen him rate at 3, and I would tell you this is a 1.5 at best. So pretty bad. I would call them cheese grater frets. So that's one problem that I have. The neck is pretty dry too. I mean, that's typical in the cheaper guitars, but usually the nicer guitars, or at least the mid-price 500 plus guitars that have roasted maple necks, will typically polish them and oil them way better than this is. And so this is like super dry. I understand these guitars sometimes are, in a warehouse for a long period of time. I get that. But typically not the case with this brand, because usually they sell out very quickly. And so when I bought this, it was hard to get, and I was able to find one in Toman, but they tend to sell out like almost immediately, or at least that's what was going on back then. Maybe now it's a different story. But yeah, I bought this guitar about 6 months ago, 5 months ago. And so that's another problem. But the biggest problem that I have, as you saw in the close-ups, and it's just absolutely disgusting, is the routing work on the back of the guitar. Now, I want to be clear about something. The routing work doesn't make the guitar necessarily play better, sound better, but it is something that you just expect to be of a higher standard in a guitar that's not cheap. Like, this isn't a $50 or $100 or $200 guitar. It is a $700 guitar, and it's just almost disrespectful to have a routing work that's so sloppy, so poor. I would call this, I've heard some people joke about stuff like that and just call them Friday guitars. This is Friday afternoon. I just got fired, and I'm going to go drink with my ex coworkers now kind of guitar. I mean, it's bad. It's horrible. It's disgusting. And Cyrus should be very ashamed of themselves for putting something out, on a guitar that they sell and that they have their brand name on the headstock and all that. And I'm sure Larry Carlton would be offended if he saw that come out of the factory. So shame on you, Sire. I mean, do better. Like, that's just not acceptable to me. Another thing that I have is a minor finish flaw near the pickguard. I'll put a close up so you can see it. And then just some minor finish flaws on like on the back of the headstock and all that stuff. Those could be kind of played off with just polishing and oiling that neck. But yeah, the route work around the neck pocket is a little sloppy too. So just overall, really poor craftsmanship here. I'm disappointed in Sire guitars. I tried to reach out to Toma to see if they could do anything about it, but it was about 2 months or 3 after I bought the guitar. And so they basically said no. Which is disappointing, really, because I haven't touched it. I haven't played it much. And ever since I noticed that, I've been less inclined to play it. And I think it's disrespectful, and it shouldn't be happening in a guitar at that price point. But that's just my opinion. I want to show you a comparison, just kind of like finish this point off. But here's a comparison of the back of the route work of this guitar. And then we'll compare it with the $50 Wish guitar, actually $40 Wish guitar. And then we'll also compare it to the Earth CP1. And we'll compare it to, let me see. Let's compare it to a Firefly FFPR. So take a look at some of those pictures. And I'm telling you right now this, as I haven't even seen those routes, and I know they're going to be better. But that's just how bad it is. Again, just completely out of pocket, and they should do something about it. It would be great if Sire reached out to me, but I don't think that's going to happen. I'm a small YouTuber, and I get the sense that if a company is okay with sending out a guitar like that, they probably don't care if someone complains about it and probably not going to do anything about it. So, anyways, if I don't hear anything from anyone like in a month or two, I'm still waiting on something from Toman. I'll just try to Dremel it and fix it myself. But sound-wise, the guitar sounds great. Playability, obviously, a lot of work needs to go into it. Need to work on those fret ends and just get it set up properly. But I wanted to just show you, what you might be getting out of the box. I'm not saying this is a typical experience. I know there's a huge following for these guitars, and I have another one, and it's fantastic so far. From what I've, been able to experience with it, it's one of my favorite guitars. But just this one was a big disappointment, big letdown, and it's certainly made me hold off on buying any other Sire products in the future, unless I can see that there's, a definitive improvement, or there's just anything that entices me to do it. But for now, there just isn't. So overall, I would rate this guitar about a 6 out of 10, maybe a 5 out of 10 at best, and I'm trying to be generous here. I do like the tones, but there's just too much work that needs to happen for a guitar in this price point, when we have guitars that come out perfectly for $300-400, like the Earth stuff or the MUC stuff. So just my 2 cents. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it was educational. And if you did, leave me a comment, like, subscribe, do all that YouTube jazz, because it helps a guy out. See you all in the next video. Take care. Have a great day.